Are live. How you doing, Sergio?
How you doing, Tyreece? I'm chilling. I'm
All
chilling.
right. This is our last episode on this channel.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what's next. Where we're going next.
Yes, play action episode. I believe we are on five now.
Yep. Yep.
5 or 6. 5 or 6. Man, let me ask you this before we even go on the show. How have you enjoyed the show so far?
I actually
Doing it.
have a great time, to be honest with you. It's very therapeutic too. I'm not gonna lie. Very therapeutic. But no, I have actually a fantastic time doing this, man. Every week, just get to spit the shit with you. Why the hell not? It's fun times.
Yeah, and it's provide a little background to how the show even came together. I pretty much we knew each other in college, going to Queensboro,
Yep.
and me and you were both in journalism. And I came to you and said, "Hey, do you want to do this show with me? I'm looking to do an NFL show." And you said, "Yeah, hell yeah, I would want to do it." And we've been through our ups and downs trying to figure this thing out, and we still have some more ways to go. But
It's
I
a
like
fun
the progress
time.
we've made so far.
It's a fun time, man. To be honest with you, it's a really fun time.
Yeah, so before we go any further as well with the show, this channel is gonna stop producing content. The MMA show that I do with Elijah, and this show here, um, just because the person I was originally working with this channel with is not working with us any longer. So instead of continuing on with the sidelined name, which originally came from a radio show I was doing with this lady, we're going to stop with this channel and go with a new channel that I should be created between today and Friday, and we'll continue doing content like this, and to be honest with you, even better,
Yeah. Listen.
even better, man.
Just gotta constantly put out good stuff out there, man. At the end of the day.
Well, let me fix this camera up a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's how I like it.
All right, so let's get into the show, man.
Let's get into this. Let's get into the show, man. So, week 6 is in the books.
I got, but man, we had this conversation last week, and I told you I was gonna come in talking shit.
Hold on. Let me first produce the show first, and then continue on. Okay. So week 6 is in the books. Let me go by the standings so far. Right as of right now, the NFC East goes as this: Eagles are number 1, 3-3 so far in the season. Cowboys number 2, 3-3. Giants, your team, 2-4. Washington, 1-5. NFC North: Packers 5-1, Vikings 4-2, Bears 3-2, Lions 2-2-1. That with a tie against the Cardinals. NFC West: 49ers 5-0, undefeated, which surprises me so far this
Very,
season.
very surprising.
Seahawks 5-1, Rams 3-3, which surprises me the most of that whole division, and the Cardinals 2-3-1 with the tie up to Lions. NFC South: Saints 5-1, Panthers 4-2, Buccaneers 2-4, Falcons 1-5.
That's another surprise too.
With the Falcons?
1-5. You expected that coming into the year? No.
No, but I think we pretty much chronicled throughout the whole entire season so far. I was going to look. We didn't expect 1-5, but I didn't think it was going to be, the top of the division by any means.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
1-5 is surprising. AFC East, Patriots 6-0. Is that surprising to you?
No, not at all.
No, and they should be 7-0 after this week. Bills 4-1, Jets 1-4, Dolphins 0-5. Ravens AFC North 4-2, Browns 2-4, Steelers 2-4, Bengals 0-6. The Ravens are running away with that division.
They really are. They really, really are. But the Browns look nice. The Browns looking a little better.
Okay. AFC West, Chiefs 4-2. That's not surprising. What is surprising in that division? Raiders 3-2, right behind them. Not too far.
Chiefs 4-2 are a little surprising as well.
Yeah, the Raiders are not too far behind the Chiefs. Broncos 2-4, Chargers 2-4, AFC South Texans are 4-2, Colts are 3-2, Jaguars are 2-4, and Titans are 2-4. So that division is still shaking itself out, and it looks like it's between the Colts and the Texans at this point.
I agree. Surprisingly, the Colts still. I didn't think they would still. Not that I didn't think that they would be competing, but I didn't think they'd be this close to the Texans.
You know what? It's a lot. It's things that we didn't predict in the season. We thought the Browns were going to be the leaders in that AFC division, and the Ravens are coming out on top. The Bills being 4-1 over the Jets is something that we couldn't predict. Um, I thought the Saints was going to be the number one in that division anyway, but the Falcons being 1-5 is surprising. Um, Everything else is pretty much shaking out like you would think for the
No,
most
yeah,
part.
I mean, but it's normal football, you know. By this time of the year, you have a couple of surprises. But then majority of the league just honestly turns out how you expect it to be. You know, the surprises, to be
Sorry
honest,
about this.
are more game to game. There's been a little bit more surprising victories week to week than overall surprises throughout the year, in my opinion.
And one thing we're going to talk about one of those surprises today. We're talking about our
Oh
Cowboys. Um,
man, that bomb.
so today we're going to focus solely on and make this a quick show. I'm not really feeling too well. My throat's a little sore. We're going to focus on the Cowboys, Jets, the 49ers, Rams, and especially the Texans and Chiefs. Because we always love to talk about Patrick Mahomes. But let me run through the week scores. Giants lose to the Patriots 35-14. That surprised me. This surprised they scored 14 points, which I didn't expect to happen.
No, to be honest, for the most part of the game, defense looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Offense wasn't looking completely out of sync for maybe like 2 quarters and a half, give or take. We looked like a legitimate team against it, but it was just too much firepower on that Patriots team. To be honest with you, we couldn't keep up.
and you know what? I think coming out of this game, we realized that the Patriots going to need even more firepower in order to win the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're not. There's there's games that they haven't walked through that you would think that they would have just completely walked through these teams.
I agree. The Panthers beat the Buccaneers 37-26. Allen is doing a great job as quarterback. I think one of the discussions coming out of this game and this week is what do you do with Cam Newton when he comes back?
Oh man, you know, to me that really is more just like a feel for it because like, say he comes back and they lost 2 games in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna give it to Cam because you just lost 2 games. But it all depends on when he comes back, how Allen's playing. Because you could have won the 2 games, but you could win those 2 games completely on defense, and your offense didn't do dog shit. You know what I mean? All
Yeah.
really depends on what they feel about him, how he's playing at that exact moment, and on top of that, how does Cam look in practice? If he looks like dog shit, he's not going to play no matter what.
And one of the things about Cam is how has the injuries and being hit as many times as he has over his course of his career, how does that affect him at this point in time? Can he still be the franchise quarterback?
Do you think he tries to be more of a pocket passer now?
But that's not his style.
I know, but he's going to have to do something if he's going to keep getting injured
Yeah.
because he keeps getting hit. He's going to have to change his style if he wants to continue. Do you think he starts practicing to become more of a pocket passer?
Yeah, I think that's more than likely to be possible. But I also think Cam Newton is also a great enough athlete and quarterback to be able to thrive well in that situation. It's just not going to be the same Cam.
No, I agree. I completely agree.
So I wonder how him being a pocket passer, he may still be good, but is he as good as when he was MVP?
No, you're absolutely right. It all. I don't think he ever will be that good, though. That's the thing. Like even if he comes back and tries to play the same way, he'll never be that good. There's just been too many injuries. There's too much mileage on his body, man. He's been hit so much. He's
Yeah.
not, and it's starting to seem like he's having that Eli shit that he had, where Eli was run, and before he even get hit, he would flinch a little, or he would purposely cover up, make sure he doesn't get hurt. I feel like Cam's starting to do the same thing, or he's going to start doing the same thing eventually if he keeps getting hit.
No, yeah, I agree, man. I think the situation they have in Carolina is very interesting to look at. Whether I was seeing on social media about why don't we trade Cam? Why don't people trade? Why don't they trade Cam? And it's like, damn, this is the guy that was the franchise of the team, and I think he still is to a degree. I don't think it's time to move away from him yet, but I mean, the fact that conversation is even being had, amongst fans is interesting.
No, it just really shows you how fast shit could change for you in football, man.
Yeah. Moving on. The Vikings beat the Eagles 38-20.
That's
Kirk Cousins is coming back.
Oh man, I don't want to say he's coming back, but he definitely has looked a lot better these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's definitely coming into his own. These last 2 weeks, especially against the Eagles in his last game. Stephon Diggs, I believe he had.
What was it, like 170, some shit like that?
Yeah. Again, this Vikings team is coming together, man.
It is. It seems like ever since that whole blow up by Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, kind of, I guess that was what they needed. Two guys to get really pissed off at Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting to see how that NFC North shakes out a little bit.
It is. What did you say the standings was in that? Who was in first place? The Vikings.
No, the Packers. The Packers are 5-1.
5-1, and then who's in second?
The Vikings right behind them, 4-2.
The Packers defense is really good though too, man. I don't know if the Vikings could catch them. To be completely honest with you.
You know what? I agree with you. I got to see the rest of the Packers schedule, but yeah, I think the Packers. I think they're gonna solidify that division pretty soon. I don't know how long the Vikings can keep it up.
The Packers are really starting to show that they're actually they might be a Super Bowl contender, and no one really thought that going into the year.
I think they'll be a threat in the playoffs. I'm not sure about Super Bowl contender yet.
No, but I'm saying if they keep playing the way they are now,
okay,
they're going to start showing that they're a Super Bowl contender.
No, I can agree with that one. I don't see them there yet, but if you continue on, I think you're right. One of these teams finally got a win on the board. The Washington beat the Dolphins 17-6.
Surprising, man.
And what was
actually a good game towards the end.
Yeah, down to the wire.
Yeah, good game. Surprisingly, it was a good game to watch.
Now, was it good because it's two teams that you know are absolute bad, and they're doing the best they can to make it?
No, it's not even that. I mean, that has a part to it, but it also is like these teams have nothing to lose. They're 0-5. I mean, if they know they're not going anywhere at this point, they're just trying to see who gets the worst record. Yeah. So they literally threw out. It was fucking what was it? 16-17. You could just kick the field goal into extra, but they went for 2 because fuck it, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes it fun to watch. These guys to go all out because why the hell not?
Well, the Dolphins continue their woes and they're winless in the season.
Fitzmagic almost happened. Fitzmagic did almost happen.
Tank Patua?
Oh man, Dolphins? Is 2 even the first? I think he is. I think 2 is the number 1.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine! And they sat Rosen already, so I think they're done with them.
Can you imagine Tua going to the Dolphins and dealing with this roster?
Oh my god! If it really went down there, I feel like he'd be miserable. I feel like he wouldn't be that good, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be successful there at all. I mean, who could be fucking successful there, to be honest with you? It's fucking the Dolphins.
Well, it remains to be seen. They currently have one of the worst records in the league, and that doesn't necessarily mean you with a draft pick, but I mean, it's not looking good for the Tua. If you think about going to a franchise team,
he's gonna stay in college a little bit. He's gonna stay in college one more year.
The Saints beat the Jaguars 13-6. Terry Bridgewater is doing good. Can't wait to see Drew Brees back, though, to be honest with you. The Seahawks beat the Browns 32-28.
Another good game.
Good win by the Seahawks. One thing I want to say about this game real quick is I felt the Browns had them early on, and then
Baker blew the whole fucking game up. That's what happened.
They took their foot off the gas, and part of that is Baker Mayfield throwing passes, to
the wrong team.
Well, not even just that, but it's like he's throwing passes off the back shoulder.
No, he looked so. What did we say last week? He just seems so rattled, and when he's rattled, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
And also the coach, Freddie Kitchens. I think it was one of those plays where Nick Chubb could have ran in for a touchdown or 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, it was a touchdown. Sorry, it was a touchdown.
Freddie Kitchens doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That's what it seems like, to be honest, because he's coached terribly this fucking year.
He was going to run it in for a touchdown on, I think, 4th down. And instead he challenged the play, which he thought that Nick Chubb had went across the plane before it was 20 people on the field.
Excuse me. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about the Browns right now? They're 2-4.
Do you see any like flashes of hope there though? Like, do you see anything like if they just fix this one thing, or if they fix this one thing that they're gonna actually like put it all together? Because they're in second place. They're tied for second right now. I mean, obviously, I think their best chance against the playoffs is the wild card. Do I think they could do it? Yes, but they gotta really wake the hell up. They gotta fix this. I don't want to say it's only Baker because I mean, it's not just him. The defense is looking so. One game they're good, one game they're bad. But I mean, they gotta fix Baker too because had 4 interceptions. He had one on the last drive too, which was terrible.
Yeah, right now he's leading the league in interceptions with 11.
I mean, it's just he threw the game away yesterday, in my opinion. He just played so bad.
You know, it's interesting though. Look at the AFC. I don't see how they sneak into the wild card at all.
No, I'm saying that's their best chance because I don't think they win the division.
Oh yeah, I think that's you're right on that. But looking at the AFC, I don't see them going to the wild card at all.
I think the Vikings are probably going to get the wild card if anything.
The who?
Not the Vikings. Who's under the charge? The Chiefs. I mean,
who's under the Chiefs? I'll tell you right now. The Chiefs are 4-2. Patriots are 6-0. Ravens are 4-2. Texans are 4-2. Besides that, the Bills 4-1.
I don't think the Bills keep it up. You're right. You're right. The guys under the Chiefs, the Raiders. I think the Raiders actually get it. The Raiders are the Colts, in my opinion, because I don't think the Bills. I don't think they could keep this up with the offense in general. Josh Allen, maybe, but I think the best chance is between the Raiders because I think the Raiders and the Colts are better than the Bills. It's just the Bills' defense is insane, but
yeah, I mean that goes a long way though.
You don't have to score a shit ton with that offense though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to score. You don't have to put up 30 points a game just to beat the Bills' offense. And the Raiders also have a good defense. It's not like they have a terrible defense, and the Colts have a good defense. So it's like just score maybe 15, 20 points, and you're probably going to win the game against the Bills.
Yeah, I mean you're right. I think the only team in the AFC that could probably get the wild card spot to me, and it's my opinion, is either the Raiders, the Colts, or the Bills at this point.
You're right.
Everything besides that is going to be a chase. Like the Steelers are 2-4.
That's the thing, though. Like, you really don't think the Browns could maybe make a run for it?
Not with this coach and not with Baker Mayfield like this.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they cleaned it up, you don't think that they can make a run for the wild card?
No, because I think that's gonna be an off-season thing. It's gonna be an off-season thing. We gotta figure out. Okay, what is the coaching gonna be with the Browns team? I don't think Freddie Kitchens is a good coach.
I don't think so either. But let's be honest, they just signed him. I don't think they're gonna get rid of him after 1 year. You know what I mean? So.
Not what the expectations they had. Like the expectation we had for the Browns going to the season was that they were going to win. They were going to get to the playoffs. Sorry, and then possibly win a Super Bowl this year with the talent that they have. There's so much hype going into it.
But it also depends on what they were. That was our expectation. What was theirs? For all we know, their expectation was just compete into the end of the season, make it close. Basically break the heart.
You heard Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. talk about the whole offseason.
No, I'm saying about the front office. It depends on what their expectations were this year. Because at the end of the day, say ours was, we expect them with this team to compete, make the playoffs, and compete for a Super Bowl. The front office's expectation could have been, listen, get us competing for the whole year. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. Just off the fact that you acquire Odell Beckham Jr. You have Myles Garrett on your Jarvis Landry, Myles Garrett. I don't think
Hunt coming back.
Yeah, I don't think you invest in all that to say we're not going to the playoffs or going for a Super Bowl.
That's very true. You got a point there.
You know what I mean? There's too much talent, and you already know the type of attraction you're getting with Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Myles Garrett, so on and so forth. Baker Mayfield, who would be a franchise quarterback.
Right.
But yeah, that is the situation in the Browns, and I don't think they go to the walk on at all. Go Raiders, by the way. Ravens beat the Bengals 23-17. Not really too much surprising there. Cardinals beat the Falcons 34-33. The woes of Matt Ryan and his stuff. This team continues, and Julio Jones at that. The Broncos beat the Titans 16-0.
That was a good defensive game by the Broncos. Very good defensive game.
The Steelers beat the Chargers 24-17.
Nothing really there, to be honest with you. The Chargers look bad, man. Surprisingly, I thought they would be a lot better this year.
Me too. And the Packers beat the Lions 23-22, down to the wire. The Lions look good, but the Packers are just better.
The Lions are better than their record is.
Yes,
they're better than a 2-2 team.
Yes, and I think this year is a good learning experience for them. That they're a legit good team.
Yeah,
just not able to compete at the highest levels at this point in time.
They're really missing one piece, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think they can get that fixed up.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
If next year, they're gonna be a really scary team to play with.
All right, sir. So now we've pretty much gone through most of the teams except for 3. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start first?
I want to get my shit talking out the way, man.
So we're not gonna stay with the best for last. We're gonna go with the Cowboys first.
Yep. I want to get my shit talking out the way, man.
Go ahead.
Oh man, Dak Prescott.
So let me be a professional here and I'll set this up here, okay? The Jets beat the Cowboys 24-22. Sam Darnold returns after his hiatus, you want to call it. 23 of 32, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 71% completion, 113 QPR. Dak Prescott, 28 for 40, 277 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, by the way. 70% completion, 89% QPR.
He sucks.
Oh, my God.
He lost to the Jets. He lost to the fucking 0-5 Jets. 0-4, I think. My fault.
Are they 0-4? Let me see.
They were, I think. Yeah, they were 0-4. They're 1-4 now.
Yeah.
He lost to a team that hadn't won all year.
Mind you, that was without Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold has been out for a hot minute. He was worried for his life as well.
They lost to the Jets. The fucking Jets. The Giants have more wins than the Jets.
Okay, so let me. I'm not gonna cop please first, but let me just say this and give credit to the Jets. We talked about here, early in the season about Robbie Anderson and who they're gonna throw it to on this team. Robbie Anderson comes up 5 receptions, 125 yards, 1 touchdown. So good for him for stepping up big. Le'Veon Bell, 14 carries, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Jameson Crowder, 6 receptions, 98 yards. Ryan Griffin, 3 receptions, 28 yards, 1 touchdown. And Sam Darnold coming back from a long stint off and looked really, really good.
He spread the ball around a lot. He did a really good job getting everyone involved,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he came back. I wasn't really expecting much. He didn't come out the gates burning hot. But just throughout the game, he was making good throws. He was making good decisions. He was really playing a good game of football. And listen, Dak, as much as I talk shit to Dak, the Jets defense really came to play. They played a good game of football too. It wasn't like it was a bullshit defense. They came out pretty well. Jamal Adams had a game and a half.
So we talked a little bit about the Jets, but I think the biggest story here is the Cowboys right now, right? Yeah. I think that they're tied right now, 3-3 in the NFC East with the Eagles. Ezekiel Elliott, 28 carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. What do you think about that? I think
they faced the Eagles. They faced the.
They didn't face the Eagles yet.
I thought they faced the Eagles next.
No, they faced the Eagles next. Yes.
Yeah, the Jets. That's what I'm saying.
So the Cowboys face the Eagles this Sunday.
That's gonna be I feel like that's really gonna determine what happens in the East because I feel like whoever comes off that win is gonna be coming off a high.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second, but I have that game circled on my calendar as one of the games to watch this Sunday. Um, but yeah, going back to Ezekiel had 28 carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. What do you think about Ezekiel game?
His best game of the year, in my opinion. He looked really good. He looked really good that game. But it's not his fault. I feel like it really wasn't. It was just overall a good game offensively for them. They weren't. It wasn't just Dak though. It was like the whole team offensively just looked at a sync from the beginning. The first 3 points, the first three scores they had were all field goals. It wasn't to
Yep.
the end of the game that they were able to get something rolling, and it just seemed like, and there was a couple times that they had really good field position, and they just couldn't move the ball or they couldn't punch it in, and they had to settle. And that's what happens once in a while. It just doesn't. It wasn't a good offensive game for them at all.
Let me ask you this, and you are very critical of Dak Prescott, but 28 for 40, 277 yards, one rushing touchdown, 70% completion, 89 QPR. Is that not a good game? In
I mean,
any other, if he's put on
you
any
want to know
other
why
team,
that's not a good game?
okay.
He didn't get a touchdown. He didn't throw a touchdown. That's the one. That's the one thing he has to do. And
But Jimmy Garoppolo, and say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's leading his team. Same way, same no touchdowns really being done by Jimmy Garoppolo. Almost the same completion number, maybe even less than that, and it's still getting the job done. Now, there's other quarterbacks in
yes,
this league that are not having the same type of game that Dak Prescott are having. They're able to get the job done and win without getting a touchdown.
yes, because the Cowboys defense isn't looking as good as it should be.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad
The
you said it.
Cowboys defense, the defense on the Cowboys says I personally can't could say this. I thought going into the season, this Cowboys defense was going to be competing for the number one defense in the league. It's
Yeah.
just such a quick defense, but the last three games, they're facing legitimate offenses until obviously the Jets, and it just seems like they were struggling to get their footing, and it just seems like it left a bad taste week after week after week. That they were going in very slow. They weren't making the tackles they had to. They weren't covering the right guy.
Mm.
And yeah, Dak Prescott, he didn't get a touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. If he had, it's not to say he had a terrible game.
Right.
He didn't, but as a quarterback, the number one thing you gotta do is you gotta throw touchdowns. That's the number one thing you gotta do. And the fact that you don't, it just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? The other numbers you'd be like, oh, but he didn't throw any touchdowns. You're like, everyone always goes, he didn't throw a touchdown. It kind of like takes you aback of it. It's not a terrible game, but I'm not going to sit there and he had a good game. He didn't win you the game, but he didn't lose you the game either. I'll say that.
Well, I think what I've learned and just doing my research for the show, just looking at Dak Prescott, and we talked about early on how Dak Prescott played, against, say what you want to call it, teams that weren't up to par with the Cowboys, maybe not on the same level, like the Giants, like the Washington, like the Dolphins. Um, you can see a pattern, and that's why I'm not ready to say this is all on Dak Prescott here. I'm seeing a pattern with this team. So, like you said before, this Cowboys defense is not the best. They're ranked ninth in the league, fourth in the NFC. Not what you expected going into the season. However, when I look my research for this show, I went through each of Dak Prescott's games. So Dak Prescott got the Giants, 25 of 32, great game, about 405 yards, 4 touchdowns, right?
Yes.
Washington, 26 of 30, 269 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Dolphins, 19 of 32, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, right? So you're starting to see a trend now. This is where you start to see it. In those games that he won, Dak Prescott was only touched twice. In this last 3 games that he's had, starting with the Saints. The Saints, Dak Prescott goes 22 of 33, 223 yards, 1 interception. Dak Prescott was hit 7 times in that game. Against the Packers, Dak Prescott went 27 to 44, 463 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was hit 8 times. This week with the Jets, I said before, Dak Prescott went 28 of 40, 277 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Dak Prescott was hit 8 times.
And the more he got hit, the worse he played, basically.
And
but that's the old line. That's the old line.
And that's what I'm saying. What this team was prided on was having the best offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
This season we have literally seen this team regress game by game by game, literally, to where Dak Prescott is getting touched up more.
That goes back, and you could watch the previous. I think this was the first or second show we ever did. I said this when we first started this Dak Prescott argument. I said Dak Prescott was made because of that offensive line and because of Zeke. I'm like, you take away either two, and he's not that good. You take away the offensive line, he's not that good. Again, you just proved my point. You could go back to the first show and hear me say this. I guarantee it, because this is the argument I always present when I say Dak Prescott isn't as good as people think he is.
But here's my argument to that. When you look at Dak Prescott as a whole by himself, just looking at what he does, Dak Prescott right now is ranked third in yards leaders. He has 1,883 yards. Only people that's ahead of him is Patrick Mahomes and Matt Ryan. Dak Prescott is ranked third in average passes per yard, 8.9. Dak Prescott is ranked third in yard per game with 300 yards per game with 313.8 yards. He's ranked seventh in completion with 69%. Best in the league is Derek Carr, 73%. So it's not that far off.
You just want to shut out Derek Carr. Don't even try to.
No, but he's number one.
You didn't mention anyone else who's number one until it came down to the first person who's number one is a Raider. You had to mention him.
No, but it is important because I wanted to show that him being at 69, Derek Carr being number one at 73 is not that far off from being a completion rater, right? Dak Prescott is ranked 7th in touchdown with 11. Matt Ryan has 15, so it's not that far off either. Dak Prescott is ranked 7th in interceptions in the league with 6, tied with Phillip Rivers, who you have regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Baker Mayfield has 11. Dak Prescott is ranked 6th in QPR at 102.8. Best in the league is Russell Wilson at 225. So when you put Dak Prescott against the best of the best in the league, he is up there. So you can't sit here and say Dak Prescott is an average quarterback or a mediocre quarterback.
Yes, but you're looking at stats. Looking at stats just says one thing. Looking at stats tell you someone else is the best player in the world too. Stats don't tell the whole story.
Does Patrick Mahomes being number one in passing leader does not tell a story of how good he's playing?
Is he the best quarterback right now?
Yes.
No, he's not. Watching the game week in and week out, he's the best quarterback in football right now. I can promise you that he's not. Watching the game week in and week out, he's not. His numbers say he is, but he's not the best quarterback in football right now.
We're talking about averages, by the way. We're talking about averages.
Yes,
so averaging as a whole, minus the Patrick Mahomes' last 2 games or so, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
But that doesn't say he is. No, he is one of the best. But he's not the best. His stats say he's the best right now. He's not. His stats right now are saying that he's the best quarterback in football. Clear cut. He's not, though. He's not the best quarterback in football.
No, I said he's one of the best.
No, I'm saying.
Does not come out right?
No, I'm saying, though, his stats alone, or if you look at the stats alone, it says he's the best quarterback in football.
Right.
But he's not playing like the best quarterback. But the stats say something. That's because the stats aren't cut and dry. You got to look at the stats and watch how they're playing week in and week out. That stats are good, but week in and week out, he's not playing good.
Well, that's not solely on him. That's what the team he has.
But the team he has is not protecting him. There's throws he's making that aren't good. There's decisions he's making that aren't good. It shouldn't. I understand, yes, the offensive line is struggling. Yes, I understand that, overall as a team, they're not playing well. But when you have 4 tries in the end zone and you could only come up with 9 points, the quarterback takes the brunt of the blame because he's the one that should be able to punch it in. He's the one calling the plays. He's the one watching the defense. He could audible whatever and see what he has to do, but he's not doing it. He's struggling to get the ball in the end zone. what? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm talking over you. Go ahead.
Well, how come the last 3 games, it took them to the last quarter to finally start putting a run up? How come the first 3? What I tell you, what I text you every weekend, every Sunday by the third quarter of the Cowboys game. I always text you, Dak Prescott. It's the first 3 quarters of it. He's terrible. Then he figures it out in the fourth, and that's not how it should be done. And to sit there and say he's a good quarter when he's doing that, I mean, come on, man. You got to play.
Part of that when you look at the game is the defense putting their foot off the gas. A large part of it is when the defense putting their foot off the gas and Dak Prescott is able to make something work. Again, these last 3 games, he's getting hit 8 times in the game. Your offense, for the most part, was supposed to be using Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott can't really even move the ball, so Ezekiel Elliott's having a bad season.
Yes, he is.
Amari Cooper's hurt. Randall Cobb is hurt. Who are your weapons now?
No, you're right.
There's so many other factors about Dak Prescott in this Cowboys team that I can't put it on Dak Prescott. When you look at the numbers and what he's doing in his games, he's not having a bad. We talked about it last week. We talked about the Packers. He had as same of a game as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers coming on top. But looking at the stats, looking at the numbers they've done, looking at the completions and attempts, they're right up there. They're right up the same.
I just think that watching him play week in, week out. Yes, the stats say he's doing good, but to sit there and say that you watch every week and he's not, that you could say he's playing well. Yet I understand.
No, he's not. No, he's not playing well, but it's not solely
on
him. That's my argument.
No, I agree. It's not solely on him. You're absolutely right, but he's not playing a top quarterback. He's not one of the best quarterbacks right now. The way he's playing,
he's third in almost everything you look at a quarterback for.
Yes, but you look at that's my argument right there, though.
What's your argument?
You're looking at the stats and stats alone. If you watch how he plays week in and week out, you wouldn't say that. I ask you, any Cowboy fan right now, is Dak Prescott one of the top quarterbacks in football? They're not going to tell you yes. They're going to say.
Hold on, sorry. You're the same person that said Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers are one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Jared Goff, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they're playing like dog shit. I have yet to hear you retract any of those statements and say Dak Prescott is not better than them right now. Week in and week out, from the start of the season,
they all suck. They all suck right now. Suck right now. But would I take Carson Wentz? Or would I take the freaking Mormon retard Phillip Rivers over Dak? Probably, yeah.
You can't politically say that word just freely.
Freedom of speech, man. Freedom of speech.
But man, when you're getting hit 7 times per game, I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what you want to do. What do you expect them to do? And Ezekiel Elliott is there to run the ball and relieve him of that a little bit. When we talk about Aaron Rodgers not able to do the same thing. At least his offensive line protects him enough.
You don't even have
that now.
You know, Dak has been hit 22 times this year. Mahomes has been hit 18. Dak has been hit 4 more times than him only, and Mahomes is having a better year.
We're starting to see the regression of Patrick Mahomes as we speak. Game by game, we're starting to see Patrick Mahomes.
You could say that he's regressing, but with Dak, who's having the worst stats, let's go with your ideology. With the stats wise, he's having worse stats, but you're still saying that he's just as good as Mahomes. He's having just as good a season. Wow,
he's up there with Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Mahomes has been 4 times. Has been hit 4 times less, and he has over 300 more yards than him.
Okay.
He has a game's worth of yards more than he has.
Where's Phillip Rivers? Where's Carson Wentz? Also, don't get it twisted. That offensive line of the Chiefs, as bad as they are, they're better than the Cowboys right now.
Carson Wentz.
There's not a Travis Kelce on that Cowboys team. It's Jason Witten.
Carson Wentz.
There's not a Sammy Watkins on that team. There's a Amari Cooper who's still trying to play for a contract. It's not
all right, look at this. Carson Wentz has 1,453 yards with 12 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Dak has 1,811 and 6. And Carson Wentz, yes, his offensive line has been playing better and I'll give you that because he has only 13 hits. But I mean, come on, you're saying he's having a bad year.
Who, Carson Wentz?
He has a better touchdown interception ratio.
No, I'm not saying
Carson Wentz 200 more yards than him.
I'm not necessarily saying Carson Wentz is having a bad year. I'm saying compared to Dak Prescott at this point in time, Dak Prescott is ranked top 10 in the league.
So you're telling me if you as a quarterback you'd rather have as your season so far 1,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, or would you rather go with 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions? I'm taking the 12 and 3.
Again, we're talking about apples and oranges when we're talking about one team has a great offensive line and one doesn't. One team.
No. See, we're wording it wrong. We're wording it wrong.
Can I please continue? One team paid all this money for Ezekiel Elliott to perform and have the game she's supposed to have, but the offensive line is not able to do anything. So now the ball is forced into Dak Prescott's hand with the weapons that he don't have in Amari Cooper and Jason Witten compared to somebody like Patrick Mahomes, like a Carson Wentz.
So we're wording it wrong. Number one,
who are also hurt.
But that's the thing. Yes, I understand that he got injuries. Okay, yes, but the Cowboys, it's not that they have a bad offensive line. They have a good offensive line playing bad. Because that offensive line should be one of the best offensive lines. It has been with those exact same 5 people up front. It has been the best offensive line in the last 2-3 years. So to sit there and say it's a bad offensive line is preposterous. They're an offensive line. They're just playing really bad right now.
Yes.
It doesn't mean they're a bad offensive line.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry if that's not clear. If we're recapping this week's game, and we're talking about the Cowboys as it stands right now, and as it stands right now, they have a bad offensive line right now, who have regressed. Like I said before we went on this tirade.
I think Carson Wentz having a better year, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, you also think Phillip Rivers and Jared Goff are a better quarterback right now than Dak Prescott. I'm not going to be able to win this argument with you because you're just going to stick to your gun because you just hate the Cowboys. You're a Giants fan. You will not give any credit to the Cowboys whatsoever. I'm just saying is this. The Cowboys are not playing well because the offensive line is not doing good. That defense is not getting to the quarterback. Dak Prescott getting hit 8 or 7 times per game against really, really elite teams with defense. Dak Prescott's numbers say he's doing good. He's playing as good as his counterparts like Aaron Rodgers last week. But
okay, so hold up. So Phillip Rivers isn't playing well, but according to your stat logic, he has 1,700 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
He's tied with
Dak. He has a 66 completion percentage. Dak has a 69, not too far off.
Yes.
So, but it's literally that you're shitting me right now, right? The guy has basically the same exact stats, but it's good for Dak, not good for Phillip Rivers. I don't understand this.
Does Dak have a better completion percentage than Phillip Rivers? Yes or no?
3%.
Yes. Is Dak tied with Phillip Rivers in terms of touchdowns? Yes. Is Dak Prescott not third in almost everything you look for in a quarterback? Yes.
And on top of that, Phillip Rivers has been hit 1 less time than Dak. Your argument here is preposterous.
And
the stats are the exact same.
And Phillip Rivers is 2-4 in the AFC. Dak Prescott is 3-3.
Okay, so then
Dak Prescott is ranked 5th at QPR. I don't know where Phillip Rivers is ranked.
Unbelievable.
What do you want to? You're telling me to look at the stats.
And the stats are the exact same. It's literally the exact same.
Is it if Dak Prescott is 3% more? If Dak Prescott is third in this, and Philip Rivers is less behind that? Like, come on now, come on.
The guy has
the fact that
the
you're
guy has
saying
100 yards more than him.
okay,
He has
still,
2 more touchdowns and the exact same interceptions.
Still better. I don't know if
yes, but you're making it seem like it's so much better that
it's
it's out of the world, but it's literally a small percentage of 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it's okay. But because it's better for Dak, it's good. But because it's worse for Philip Rivers, it's bad. Are you serious?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is overall, it's better. No matter what you could say to me right now, the numbers are just
you said Philip Rivers is having a terrible year. He literally isn't too far off from Dak.
Compared to Dak.
Oh,
what is so hard about that?
Because the fact that you're
better than B.
Okay, so let's put it like this: if you're a running back and you have 2,000 yards and you have 20 touchdowns, and I'm a running back and I had 18,000 yards and I had 18 touchdowns, did you had that much of a better year than me? It's pretty close. It's basically the same shit.
Close.
You'd have
pretty close. It's not even. Pretty close.
No, it's not. But to say, but is it still? So am I having a good year still? Am I still having a good year?
The person.
Answer the question. Am I having a good year still?
No, I'm answering your question. The person with the better yards is having a better year than the person.
Am I having a good year?
You're still having a good year, just not better than the person. So you're not better than. You're not better than. What's so hard about that?
You said that Phil Rivers isn't having a good year, but it's literally the same. Basically, 100 yards
to Dak.
So
talking about
so he's Prescott. Not having so Dak Prescott's having a good year because he has those stats.
Yes.
Philip Rivers, who has 100 yards less and 2 touchdowns less than him, is having a bad year. You hear the statement you're making. Because he has 100.
Let me rephrase it for you so you can understand what I'm saying perfectly. As we're talking about Dak Prescott, and we're comparing Dak Prescott against other quarterbacks in the league, Philip Rivers is not having as good of a season so far in Week 6 as Dak Prescott. That's not hard to know. There's facts there.
You didn't say that.
We're sitting here comparing Dak Prescott to the other quarterbacks.
Yes, and you said that Philip Rivers was having a shitty year.
Compared to Dak.
Okay, let's move on. This is supposed to be therapeutic, and you're just raising my blood pressure right now.
I don't understand what's so hard about that.
Because
A is better than B.
That doesn't mean
now.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You ain't gonna. I know we went to the same college and we had the same math class, and I don't know what you got in your grade or whatever. I was just always taught when you have like the one number that's bigger, you have like the little triangle thing like on the side, and pointing that way, the ass pointing that way, putting the arrow pointing that way. That means it's better than.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
You know the back end of the triangle thing is equals better than, you know.
All right. Asshole.
All right. But I think we both could agree that this Sunday's game, the Eagles against the Cowboys, is going to be a very telling game.
It is. It's going to be very fun.
I think that one pretty much decides that division.
I do. Like I said, whoever comes out that game is going to be riding it high, and I do think they're going to have a stretch of really good games after that's just going to separate them from the rest of the division.
Then my fucking throat hurting talking about Dak Prescott. I'm fucking cold. All right, moving on. The 49ers beat the Rams 20-7. I think we could both agree the Rams are not playing as we thought they were. What do you think, man?
I mean, this kind of said different things for both teams. Like for the Rams, it just shocked everyone. You know, it was more of just like a holy shit moment. You're like, wow, kind of surprised that they're this. Not to say that they're this bad. Excuse me. Not to say that they're this bad, but they're just on a streak of just really not good football. And then on the other side, you got the Niners, and wow, where did this come from? Who would have thought? What are we 6 weeks in? That they're one of the two remaining undefeated teams. You'd have never thought that. And I mean, good for them. The defense has been playing a phenomenal. The defense is arguably one of the best defenses in football. The way
Yeah.
they've been playing, Garoppolo's doing enough just to win the game. Breda's having a great year running the ball.
Tevin Coleman.
Tevin Coleman, that two-headed monster with them in the backfield, and it just overall, it's a good team running it. I'm not saying Garoppolo's getting what he's playing like for what he's getting paid, but he's not losing you the game. He's not making stupid interception throws. He's not just he's doing enough for you to win the game. He's getting the ball into the end zone so Breida and Coleman can run it in. The defense is just playing lockdown defense. It's so tough to score on them. Richard Sherman is actually starting to look kind of showing glimpse of the Richard Sherman we saw with the Legion of Boom. The guy's playing really good.
How crazy is that, man? You just think how long ago that's been.
Yeah.
And
I hated him back then too. I thought he was an asshole, but he's playing. The guy's playing good, man. The guy's playing good.
No, yeah, and D Ford getting to the quarterback, Ronald Blair the third getting to the quarterback, Solomon Thomas getting a sack as well, Eric Armstead getting a sack and getting a fumble recovery. This 49ers team is their offense is what it is. It's back behind their running game, and Jimmy Garoppolo's going to get you there as best he can. But it's really set up by their defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what interests me about this team, and my expectations for them is not that high because I didn't have.
How long can they do this? How long can they do this?
Yeah.
How long do you think?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, yeah, my expectations for them weren't that high going to the season, so I don't know. My expectations for them are really low at this point. If they go to the playoffs and do well, not even just win a game or so, not get the Super Bowl, I think it's a successful season.
So, I mean, you gotta realistically think they're gonna either have to face the Patriots, the Chiefs going on the road. Do you think they could get past these teams?
Well, they beat the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't think they beat the Chiefs.
I think they played them last week.
Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you think they could do that again with Garoppolo leading them in the playoffs? It's a whole different animal.
I don't know, man. I think that defense is the big key factor. So especially when we talk about the Patriots as well. Can the Patriots offense handle the defense of the 49ers? I don't know.
Yeah, but can that 49er offense handle their defense, the Patriots defense?
The offense, you mean?
The Patriots the whatchamacallit, Niners offense couldn't handle the Patriots defense.
That's a good question. But how much? What by the end of the season, we don't know how the Patriots offense is going to look. With players dropping left and right, and can Tom Brady withstand the rest of the season? I think he can, but who knows? I have more hope in Garoppolo's thing throughout the rest of the season than the Patriots.
No, the Niners didn't face the Chiefs yet. By the way,
they didn't.
No.
Who did the 49ers play last week?
Last week they played. Give me 1 second. The Browns. The Browns.
Oh, okay, that's why. Gotcha. Yeah, that's.
Do you like honestly like? We both agree that their defense is one of the best.
Yeah.
If they're gonna make a run for the Super Bowl, they need to get something from their offense. Do you think that offense against a good Patriots defense, even not a Patriots defense, and we're kind of talking a little ahead, and obviously we don't know if this is going to be true because of the way they're playing. The Chiefs offense at its best, it's really, really just out there. It keep up with anyone. You have to really keep up with them. So say they're playing that way. Do you think this offense could keep up with them?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily keep up with them. I think if they can contain Patrick Mahomes, I think that's the biggest factor than keeping up with them. I think you can keep it a low-scoring game like we've seen before, and get the job done against a Chiefs team. And my question is, with this defense that the 49ers have, I think they get to Patrick Mahomes. We talked about
they're really good at rushing the passer. You're right about that.
And with Patrick Mahomes, again, that ankle and that situation that he has going on, you see him. The hits are starting to get to him more and more and more. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think Patrick Mahomes stays the rest of the season, but I don't think he's looking the same as he is when he started off.
That's true. It's very true. I think he's gonna regress a little too.
So I think if that defense holds up and Garoppolo does just enough to put them in right positions, yeah, I think they could do well.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll definitely have to see. It really is going to see how he plays the rest of the year. It's really going to see if this defense continues the rest of the year.
Yeah.
It's week 6. For all we know, that this could be a different team on both sides of the field come week 17.
But as of right now, it solely depends mostly on that defense to stay together.
Yep, I agree.
But let's focus on the Rams for a second. Jared Goff goes 13 of 24, 778 yards, 54 completion, 60 QPR. This is once a guy that you have in your top 10. That's of course we talked about. But seriously though, this is a team that was in Super Bowl last year, and now we're seeing this team, having some difficulties, especially with Jared Goff being quarterback.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise to me, but I mean, I still think they have a really good team in general. Like overall, on paper, they still have a good team, which is surprising. Why is the reason why it's so surprising that they're playing so bad?
Yeah,
because like we said a million times going into the season, this is one of the teams you got to watch out for because they're going to be here to play, and they're going to make some noise. And look at it, they're 2 games back from second and from first. Yeah. Doesn't look like they're going to even compete for they have to catch the Seahawks to compete for the wild card. And I mean, Seahawks would be in first place in every other division, basically, that's why now it looks like they're completely out of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to say that, Jared Goff is, a fluke or he's not hyped as what he should be. I think he's still a good quarterback. I think this team is still good. I think this week's game is going to be really interesting to see. Or next week's game is going to be interesting to see if they could beat the Falcons.
Yeah, they should. They really should. And if they don't, that really just shows that this team was kind of a fluke last year.
Yeah, I think that game. Just thinking of Matt Ryan and thinking of Jared Goff, both pretty much, not having the best of years with this team. I expect a high score game, honestly.
Dude, both defense are playing well. Is a game that just really the offenses really need to show up. So I think this is going to be a shootout, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Jared Goff is still a good quarterback. It's just not having the best year with this team. Aaron Donald is still look good. He got to the quarterback 2 times. He got Jared Goff 2 times. They got to the quarterback 6 times in the game. Got an interception off of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just that they're still trying to find themselves, especially after the Super Bowl loss, where we thought they were going to be right back there, and they still can be. But they're just having a hard time.
I agree. I definitely agree with you.
But yeah, there's not really much to say about Jared Goff. I don't want to say that he's overhyped or anything like that. But it remains to be seen after this week. I think the Falcons game is going to be really telling about this team.
I do too. I definitely do.
Yeah. And lastly, the Texans beat the Chiefs 31-24. It was a good game.
It really was. It showed off a lot for the Texans, in my opinion. More so a showing game for the Texans than the Chiefs.
Yeah. So, and what's interesting is we talked about earlier this season about Deshaun Watson, and can this team protect Deshaun Watson? And we had questions about whether Deshaun Watson can last the rest of the season. They're getting it together now. They're getting it together now, and that's good to see. They want to see a young quarterback, get hurt so many times, get hit so many times per game. But reading the numbers, Patrick Mahomes, not looking himself, 19 of 35, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 54% completion, QPR of 96.4. He fumbled the ball as well, which we're starting to see him too, getting out of the pocket and getting hit. LaShawn McCoy, 8 carries of 44 yards. Tyreek Hill, 5 receptions, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Good to have him back. You wonder how it would look with Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill at the same time.
Do you know when he's coming back by any chance?
Do not know. I haven't seen any reports lately about Sammy Watkins. Which I think that is the big piece that's missing from this team. When you think about that high power offense, I think Sammy Watkins is a big part of that.
Yeah, it is, because he gives them the downfield threat on the other side. Imagine having to cover a downfield threat on both sides. One of them's bound to be open at some time.
Yeah. Travis Kelce, 4 receptions, 58 yards. Damian Williams, 1 reception, 14 yards, 1 touchdown. So that's good. On defense, Juan Thornhill and Travaris Ward got an interception. No sacks by the defense on the show. Watson was really good by the offensive line of the Texans. And Deshaun Watson, 30 of 42, 280 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 2 rushing touchdowns, 71% completion, 77 QPR. He pretty much did it almost everywhere, rushing for a touchdown, getting a touchdown himself. 42 yards carrying. He did a damn good game.
He did. He actually came out to play for the first time, and it was very nice to see. Like, this first time this year that he was just not constantly under pressure, not constantly getting berated in the backfield 2 seconds after he takes the hike.
Yeah.
But no, he did make some mistakes. He did make some stupid throws. But at the end of the day, like, it's the same thing that Garoppolo did. He didn't do anything to really win the game. He didn't do anything to really lose the game. He did just enough for them to find their way out, to keep them in the game and find a way to because for a little while it looked like they were kind of dead, and then they just put 2 touchdowns back to back, and it was like, wow, all right, they're back in this.
Well, in the second quarter, they really exploded. 20 points in the second quarter, which is not good at all, and held the Chiefs to 0 points. And from there, was able to hold on to the Chiefs and score it late and win the game. Carlos Hyde, 26 carries, 110 yards. Sorry, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. He fumbled the ball. That's correct. Darren Foles, 6 receptions, 69 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 9 receptions, 55 yards. This team did a really good job. I'm really surprised that the Texans came out of this one. I didn't expect it to happen.
No, going into the year, we see this game and we're like, wow, this is gonna be a really good game, and which it did. But you would always say you would think that the Chiefs would come out and win this game. You know, they think that the offense is too high powered. It just shows that this Texans team, granted, the Chiefs' offense isn't at the pinnacle of what it could be, but it could play. This Texas team can play the game. And if Deshaun Watson's right, if he's playing well, don't be surprised if they upset some teams on the way in the playoffs.
And if Deshaun Watson has time. I mean, that was one of the big things we talk about.
That's the big thing.
That offensive line protecting Deshaun Watson. And when he has time, he's able to do spectacular things, rush for a touchdown and make the right passes. So that was good to see. I think the thing about Patrick Mahomes is, they're getting to Patrick Mahomes a lot more game by game you're seeing now. And, the injury that happened in the first game of the season with the Jaguars, I wonder how much that's going to hinder him going forward in the season. Because it's becoming a recurring thing to see. I think they have a bye week this week, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah.
No, they don't, actually. They face the Broncos Thursday. That's a quick turnaround. It's a quick turnaround.
Where are they playing?
I believe in Mile High.
Man, it's going to be actually I wouldn't be. The Broncos defenses are playing well, and they get after the quarterback. So Mahomes keeps getting hit, man. I don't know, man. That's gonna be a tough game.
And that's my thing. I think the Chiefs break the Broncos, but it's just the mileage on Patrick Mahomes and just getting touched up game after game by good defenses. Him being hurt, I think that is going to hurt him going towards the end of the season as we go to week 7 and on. And you know, that puts me if Patrick Mahomes can lead this team in the playoffs if he's hurt.
If he's hurt, they're not going to hear anything from the Chiefs, to be honest with you. If he's not playing 100%, there's no way this team actually competes with some of the teams that are in the AFC. There's no chance because they need him at his best. Their offense is literally built around him being able to make the spectacular play or be able to make the smart play or just be able to be so elusive that he could extend plays to make that big play just appear out of nowhere.
And when you can't, and when the movement is hindered by whatever injuries you have, let it be the ankle or the leg or whatever, he's not gonna be as spectacular.
No, he's not, and that's why I think if the Texans meet up with the Chiefs, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans win again. If Mahomes is still injured or he's still limping around, if that's the case, don't be surprised if the Texans come out and beat them.
Listen, I think the Raiders play the Chiefs again this season again.
You should. I think you play them one more time.
I like our chances. I like our chances way more than we did the first game.
You play the Texans in 2 weeks too.
Yeah, okay.
See what you do. Let's see what you do.
Listen, Derek Carr.
Oh man.
73% completion, number 1 in the league. Stats matter.
We'll see, man.
But yeah, man. I think the Patrick Mahomes situation. I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna watch that Broncos game. It's gonna be a very interesting game to see. Just because the Chiefs needs to bounce back. They need to bounce back against that Denver and Mile High with that Bronco defense. It's gonna be interesting to see how the Chiefs hold up.
I definitely agree. I'm definitely keep an eye on that game too.
Yeah. Before we let you go, let me ask you this: who's your MVP of the league so far? If you had to make a vote right now, who's your MVP?
Oh man.
And why is it Daniel Jones?
I mean, the guy did get the Giants 2 wins.
God.
I mean,
no, but seriously, who's your MVP of the year so far?
If Lamar Jackson kept up what he was doing, I would say him. Yeah. But he came down to earth. So it to be completely honest with you, I don't have a clear-cut MVP right now. I don't have one. Every 2 weeks from the beginning of the season to for the last 6 weeks, it's been changing because there hasn't been a player yet that for the first 6 weeks has just come out completely dominating the game every game. There's been players that had 2 good games and then they'll struggle, and then they'll have a decent game, and there hasn't been one this season yet where it's all right. This week we know he's gonna do this. It's just automatic with this guy. It hasn't. But I mean, you still got to throw out Mahomes. They're still having a really good year. You still got to throw out Lamar Jackson. His name is still holding some weight.
Go ahead.
But I mean, if you really have the gun to my head, it's probably Mahomes right now. But it's not set in stone. It's really not. It's so interchangeable.
No, and we're going into week 7 now, so anything can happen. But just not even thinking about Patrick Mahomes, who could be, one of my MVPs right now. I think one of them has to be Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's having a great year with the Seahawks team.
This is very. You're absolutely right about that.
I think somebody who we thought was going to drown with this, the Legion of Boom being over and having to pretty much rebuild this team. He's done really, really well with this team, and he's winning games. He's not only winning games, he's making the right plays and doing just enough to win the game, even when you're down. Like the Browns versus the Seahawks this week, down a lot, able to come back and win this game.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you this one, and you've heard me say this before yourself. I don't like Russell Wilson, but when the guy could play, and the guy he's out there balling. Like you said with the Browns game, I thought they were going to lose that. I actually switched the game to a different game at that point because I was watching that for a little. I was like, this kind of game, this seems over already. The guy wakes up and just gets out there and plays the game, man, and he for as much as I don't like him, he's such a smart player.
Yeah.
He's such a there's so many quarterbacks out there that are just great athletes or have phenomenal arms or they can move around the pocket, but this guy is just so intellectually smart when it comes to reading defenses and making the right decisions. He's just a really smart quarterback.
Yeah, and one of the things as well is the fact that you give him an inch in a game. You give him just enough to come back in a game, and he will do it. And
You really got
he will
to
do it.
put him out.
And he's one of those. He's like Aaron Rodgers in a way where late in the game you want him to lead the drive.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah. And I think another one for me would be Christian McCaffrey. I think he's
oh yeah.
If it can't be Patrick Mahomes and you have to give it to somebody else right now, it would be probably Christian McCaffrey and what he's doing.
Shit, man, this guy is really actually having an outstanding year. It's not. It's really not, though.
Well, no, you would think going to the season that will be, not knowing what you know, Saquon Barkley having a better year or Ezekiel Elliott having a good year. No, it's Christian McCaffrey, and it's a guy that's been consistently being good every single game. And now with this Panthers team, they rely a lot more on him, and he's delivering every time.
But the thing is, it's not surprising at all. Like, if you were to tell me McCaffrey's gonna have a better season than Saquon, I would disagree.
Yeah.
But would I call it completely just out of this world crazy? Say no, because last year the guy was one of the best running backs in football last year. Why wouldn't he continue this over this year? The guy, he's just such a consistent runner too. But it's not even just running; it's catching out the back. He does everything well as a running back.
Yeah, we had a conversation earlier in the season. Like, is he top 5? And
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he may be. Yeah. He may even be top 3.
Yeah,
not 3.
Honestly, name me a better running back right now. I want to hear one. Who's a better running back right now than McCaffrey?
Shit, I'll have to think, man.
There's none. The guy is just the best running back right now, and
yeah.
What sucks is it doesn't suck because they're still doing well. You know what I mean? But it sucks that he's not doing this with Cam without Cam.
Yeah, and it was wait to be seen. Like we talked earlier in the show, whether what happened with Cam Newton? Do Cam Newton come back and just business as usual, or did they send Cam out?
Imagine he was doing this with Cam though. It'd be such a dynamic 1-2 punch with such a mobile quarterback with such a because this is what the Browns kind of wanted with Baker.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when they signed Kareem Hunt, McCaffrey's such a dynamic runner out the back, and Cam, a guy who could sling the ball to any part of the field and can move around. This is what they were hoping for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you see what happened with Cam.
Again, it remains to be seen. I'm glued to what's happened to that situation. Again, Cam Newton being the franchise quarterback, do you miss the chemistry going on right now?
I wouldn't. Like I said earlier, it depends. But if it's the same when Cam comes back as it is now, I wouldn't even think about putting Cam on the field. Yeah. Honestly, I would keep Cam completely off it.
I agree. All right, man. This has been a good show. Thank you for helping me through this. I know I may sound horrible with me having.
Nah, you good, man.
Hopefully, we'll be good by Friday. I'm doing a actual after show recap of UFC Weidman versus Reyes.
Really? I forgot they're fighting this weekend too, man.
Yeah. So and 2 more weeks until I go to Madison Square Garden, man. I'm excited.
Oh, you're going to the Diaz fight?
Yeah, I am.
Who you think you got? Who you got? Let me hear this.
If I put a gun to my head, I would say I'll say Masvidal.
Oh my God! Stop with that noise. Diaz is gonna wash him.
I would say Masvidal. I can't wait. Me and Elijah's gonna have a good time. If anybody's there watching the fight, please let me know. We'd love to see you. And And Sergio, thank you for hopping on the show. And thank you for going on this journey with me. Again, we're going through a big change with this actual channel. We're going to be on a new channel. We'll, as you see this on the screen below, it says follow on Twitter at 3500 _Ty. I can't talk for shit. My throat's hurt. But follow on Twitter at 3500 _Ty. That's my Twitter handle. I'll make an announcement regarding the future of this channel and what's next. We are not going away. We're going to continue doing more shows like this, even better. And I'm excited, man.
So am I. This is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, and I'll see if I could, put something in the description. Maybe I could, after this episode is over, I could put something there to say with the link to the channel. All right. Before I let you go, how about them Yankees, man? Houston is
kicking our ass, man.
Yeah.
3 more in the Bronx, though. It's okay, though. 3 more in the Bronx. You got 2 more in the Bronx. I mean, we gotta go back to Houston winning. That's all that matters.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive, man.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you next week.
You can't talk though. Your Dodgers are gone.
Listen, I'll try to end this. But yeah, man. I think the games we're gonna cover next week: Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Packers is a game for me. And Eagles, Cowboys is a big one out of all of them.
Eagles, Cowboys is the one game I must see. I have to see that game.
Any final word before we let you go?
Let's go Yankees.
Well, man, listen, man. It's 4-0 right now. They're gonna need a prayer.
Listen, God's listening.
Yeah. All right, signing off. My name is Tyriece Simon.
My name is Sergio Marquez.
And this is Play Action. See you guys next week. Different channel.
Different channel.